Thad Brown along with Prescott Rossi here at New Era Field after another Bills bad loss. But really the story from this game isn't the score on the scoreboard. It's what happened in the Bills locker room, or more to the point, who wasn't there. Yeah. Vontae Davis, according to Sean McDermott, left the game before the first half and apparently has quit the team. Prescott, what was it like in the Bills locker room when word started filtering in that that's what happened?
Well, it was one of the more surreal locker rooms I've been in my 7 years of covering the team. And I was there when Kyle Orton quit on the day after the season ended. This was really strange because they were playing it off as if nothing had happened. And then word started trickling in after Sean McDermott announced the news during his press conference that Vontae Davis retired, quit, whatever you want to say. And then we started asking guys about it, and Lorenzo Alexander, who's, the consummate professional, a longtime veteran in the NFL, said it was disrespectful, and they were stunned by it. And, you hear a lot of quotes going into locker rooms, and they all kind of blend together. A lot of cliches, a lot of the same thing. It stunned us, because, wait a minute, what? He quit? He retired? And then Jerry Hughes, Kyle Williams, guys who've been in the league a long time, they were all in the same boat. Like, I've never seen that. Even going back to my Pop Warner days, someone just up and quitting at halftime.
Certainly reflects poorly on the way this defense was set up. And I also want to say that Raphael Bush added his thoughts that it was disrespectful. Kyle Williams, like he said, did not like it. Bush said that if Vontae Davis changed his mind, wanted to come back tomorrow, he would not be welcomed back into this locker room. Now, the Vontae Davis story is kind of just one little part of what has been a defensive meltdown through the first three halves of this season. Bills look better in the second half. Yeah. But how stunning to you is it the way this defense played? In 90 minutes of football, they allowed 75 points to start the season. Granted, a couple of short fields in Baltimore, but still, it blows you away.
Well, and you talk about situational football. First 9 times the Bills' defense was in their own red zone, they gave up 9 touchdowns. And it doesn't matter no one's winning if you're giving up 100% touchdowns when you're inside your own red zone. Yeah, the defense has fallen apart quickly, and because they're getting in these big holes, we know the offense is flawed. It's impossible for them to get out of these holes. And we saw it today where the offense looked a little bit better, as the defense did too in the second half, but overcoming a 28-3 deficit in the first half, they were never going to be able to do that.
Offensively, Josh Allen was the story coming into this game early on, like the rest of the Bills. He really wasn't much. It was very disappointing. But I think second half certainly righted the ship a little bit. There were some things to build on. Has his first touchdown pass. The Bills, scored a touchdown themselves. I mean, you think about the second half today, the Bills scored a touchdown and did not allow a touchdown, something that had not happened in any of the first three halves. Look, do we look at this second half, maybe Allen specifically or the team as a whole, and say, okay, the Bills are starting to figure things out, or is that just the Chargers kind of finishing out a game for a win?
And I think both of those things may be true. I also think after last week, anything will look positive. I mean, you lost by 44 points just 7 days ago. I thought Allen showed obviously more than Peterman. I don't think that's really breaking any news here, but he was okay, I guess. But exactly, when your defense is allowing touchdowns in every drive, how can you rank him against the team they're going up against when Phillip Rivers is carving up defenses to ribbons? Yeah, Allen was fine, and a good first step, I guess. Let's see him do it again, and it's not going to get any easier now going on the road to Minnesota and Green Bay coming up.
Let me close with this. If I told you that Team X opened the year being down 75-9 after 90 minutes of football, had a player quit on them during the second game of the season, changed quarterbacks after game 1 of the season, what would you think of Team X's head coach?
Well, yeah, exactly. I know Allen has looked okay, but this has been a disaster these first 2 games for the Buffalo Bills, and it really calls into question what the front office was doing from the 9 months from when they walked off the field in Jacksonville to last Sunday when they opened up against the Ravens. The quarterback position, it seems weak. The offensive line is bad. The wide receivers, maybe the worst position group in the whole National Football League. Now that they're even down Jeremy Curley, it could be a very long season here in Orchard Park.
Hey, the bright side of this is that it is going to be a long-term process. This is, game 2 of what really now is year 1. I mean, you almost take the playoff season and push it aside. But, I think that after these first 2 games, you have to wonder, like you said, what was the plan for Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott coming in? Because as much as you give them credit for figuring things out last year, this has been an utter disaster of a coaching and management job through 2 games of the season. Now they got 14 more games to figure it out. Like we said, long-term process. process. But, man, you got to call these first 2 games as you see them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just think back to what they did during the draft. And we knew positions of need, and they spent extra draft picks to move up and acquire both Josh Allen and Tremaine Edmonds. Teams that win in the National Football League build through the draft. Free agency, there may be an outlier here or there, but more often than not, do not really get to that next level building through free agency. And we even saw with the Bills' free agent moves this offseason. I don't know that Starlo Tulele and Trent Murphy were great moves for that defense. And I just don't know what this plan is that they're going to do, that Beane and McDermott have put in, because going to Josh Allen in week 2 and really not evaluating Nathan Peterman well enough, that's an indictment on the management group here with the Buffalo Bills.
Hey, the good news is they go to Minnesota next week, so it should get a whole lot better. Vikings are hey, the Vikings win today, by the way, Bove? Did they really?
Wait, what?
Another tie in the NFL. So there you go.
So just like being in the locker room, finding out that Vontae Davis quit, now I'm finding out on the field that there was another tie in the National Football League.
See, we're giving you a live reenactment here at RochesterFirst.com. All right, for Prescott, I'm Thad. Thanks for joining us here.